here's something that's going on with net neutrality. Now, net neutrality is a big theme on this show. We talk about the free and open internet a lot. And with the loss of net neutrality, now stuff like this can happen. And by this, I mean this next headline that I'm pulling up right now. HBO Max won't hit AT&T data caps, but Netflix and Disney Plus will. Welcome to a world without net neutrality. Okay, so what's going on here? So AT&T and HBO are they're a merger. I mean, AT&T, Time Warner, and HBO's under that umbrella. And we've covered this on the show when it started occurring. What you started seeing internet service providers, AT&T, Comcast, and this has been going on for a while. They're merging with big content production entities. Comcast owns MSNBC. AT&T owns Time Warner. HBO is under that umbrella. Why are they doing this? Well, they're doing this for a number of reasons. One is just, these big companies merge all the time. But another reason is when you have this marriage, the marriage between the entity that provides you your internet service connection and an entity that provides content on a mass production level, what you can do in a post-net neutrality world is you can make that content load faster and with better priority than other content, which means that content will be the king of the land and other content won't be able to compete. And why are they doing this? Well, because now they can. Because what was the law that was prohibiting them from doing something like that? Net neutrality. Net neutrality was the policy that we've had since the advent of the internet. We just got it cemented into law in 2015, and then it got repealed by the Trump administration, FCC, later in 2017. So now that law is repealed, and net neutrality was the law that designated the internet a utility in our lives. So it means it needs to flow like running water. You can't certain websites can't be prioritized over others. Fast lanes and slow lanes can't be established on the internet. All internet traffic needs to be treated equally like flowing water to your house. That's the law. That's what net neutrality is. That's what net neutrality does. Net neutrality does not allow the government to control the internet. That's not what net neutrality is. That's not what net neutrality does. Net neutrality is not some overreach by the FCC. It just designates the internet a utility, the same way if you make a phone call or flowing water. That's what net neutrality is. Without that law, entities like AT&T and Comcast can buy up content production conglomerates like HBO. And then what they can do is they can prioritize the traffic of those entities and then throttle the traffic of other entities such as independent media, stuff on YouTube, stuff like this show, stuff like podcasts. You get the idea. And they're going to do this slowly. It's not like we're going to wake up one morning and the internet's going to look completely different. And we're going to be like, well, nothing loads unless it's HBO Max or Disney Plus or MSNBC or CNN or Fox News. And everything else never loads. I can't watch independent media anymore. It's not like we're going to just wake up one day and it's going to be completely different. It's going to be a, quote, slow boil. How do they assure a slow boil? Stuff like this. HBO Max, which is affiliated with AT&T, it won't hit an AT&T data cap. What does that mean? That means if you are an AT&T customer and you have a data cap with them, which, by the way, data caps are mostly bullshit anyway. They shouldn't even exist. It's just another way that these big cable companies price gouge you. HBO Max won't go against your data cap because HBO Max is under the AT&T umbrella, but Netflix and Disney Plus will. So what are you going to migrate to more? HBO Max. And that's how they're slowly but surely going to be able to control the medium and the message. At the end of the day, that's what this is. Your internet service provider, the person that provides you the internet, that's the medium. The content is the message. All these mergers are an attempt to control the medium and the message. And once we lose the medium, it's gone forever. And so many people don't think this is possible or that this is a reality. So many people don't think this is as big of a deal as it is. But mark my words, we could very easily live in a world where we're telling our kids and our grandchildren what the internet used to be like. And they're going to say stuff like, oh, you mean people used to be able to have their own podcast? They could just, and it would load the same speed as something else. Yes. People could have shows on YouTube. It would load. Yes. Once we lose the medium, we don't get it back. And it's very plausible we could lose the free and open internet as we know it. Now, what's the permanent fix for all this? The permanent fix for all this is city-owned internet all across the country. Because with city-owned internet, meaning you pay the internet bill to your city instead of to a big cable company like AT&T or Comcast, that controls the medium again. Again, the medium and the message, the medium, the internet, the message, the content you're viewing on the internet or reading on the internet or listening to on the internet. So you take the medium back, well, you get the message back too. And by the way, city-owned internet, every time it's been tried, is just as good, if not better, than the option big cable gives people, and it's cheaper. So it's better internet and more affordable because you don't have this cable duopoly price gouging you at every turn. So that's just evidence of the slow boil that is the post-net neutrality world. And they are trying to take the free and open internet away. They are trying to make shows like this a thing of the past for a number of reasons. One just being profits. That's what AT&T, they care about profit above all else. That's all they want. HBO Max, they just want the most profits. And if you control all the content, if people don't have choices, well, guess what? You've won the market share. That's what they're trying to do. And now they can in a post-net neutrality world. All right. So that's weird that we did the good news first, and then we should have done that the other way. I don't know why I did it that way. I did the good news first, then I did the bad news. That makes us all feel a little less great, doesn't it? That makes us all feel a little less great. But that's what's happening. And man, sometimes when it comes to net neutrality issues and city internet issues, I really feel like sometimes I'm yelling down a well. And I know that you guys who watch the show regularly, you're like, yeah, we get it. But I feel like even people that, content creators on the internet should be the most on top of this. You know what I mean? And it's, you'd be shocked how many people have said stuff to me like, no one cares about net neutrality. It's not important. People who run independent blogs on the internet for a living. I'm not kidding. I'm not like I'm 100% serious. Like people whose livelihood depends on a free and open internet are like, this doesn't matter. Net neutrality doesn't matter. People whose livelihood, that'd be like, I don't need to make an analogy. You guys know how ridiculous that is. But I've seen it. It happens. It happens all the time, and it blows my mind. So thank you for making me feel a little less alone. Really, thank you for making me feel a little less alone when I'm like, this is, and again, the free and open internet connects to so many other things. What would we know about the protests going on right now if it wasn't for the free and open internet? If people couldn't film where they were and say what's really going on? What would we really know about the systemic racism in our police force if it wasn't for the free and open internet? Yeah, it's like Will Smith said. Like, racism in policing is not new. It's just being filmed now. What will we know about what's going on in Flint, Michigan? What will we know about issues of war and peace around the world if it wasn't for independent journalists going there and telling you what they see and documenting what's going on and putting it on the internet? What will we know about any of those issues if our only point of reference was our corporate media, which just lies at the behest of our military-industrial complex. What would we know about any of these issues if it wasn't for a free and open internet? So it's all connected. Pun intended. Because internet connection, see what I did there? Huh? So anyway, I mean, we keep talking about those issues on this show. We keep talking about net neutrality because it is that important. And if we lose the free and open internet as we know it, we're not going to get it back. And thank you guys for realizing that, because it makes me feel a little less alone. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it